A black male says he was falsely accused of vaping, even though he had no vaping access, had no paraphernalia, on an Alaskan plane. Here it is.
So I am currently being pulled off of the plane for Alaska Airlines for someone saying that I smell like marijuana or a vape.
This is reports from the flight attendants, and the flight attendants got reports from passengers.
He saw me go into the bathroom to use the bathroom to pee.
It's not just the flight attendants.
And then he assumed that because I was in close proximity with other people, that I was the one who was smelling like weed or having a vape. I don't even have a vape now. This is discrimination. I really want to speak to a manager and the police department because I want to file a lawsuit. All these people on this plane, but the black guy who went to the bathroom has a vape. Where is the vape? Yeah, this is a civil issue. It's a major one at that because I'm being falsely accused of something that I did not do. I'm showing the lady, like, when I got on the plane, I immediately dropped all of my belongings in my chair. So I went into the restroom with nothing on me. I came right back out the bathroom. So, sir, when did I ever have time to vape and do any of the things that you're accusing me of?
Let's analyze this step by step. Let's put them up full mass. Okay, you're on a plane. Obviously, other people are on this plane. Another passenger who has just as much right and authority says, this guy, I believe, was vaping, or perhaps he smells like marijuana. Well, first of all, vaping and marijuana are two very different things. Second, you've admitted that you have not seen anyone utilize a vaping pen or engage in smoking marijuana. You simply assume it is him. 3, at no point was drug paraphernalia or vaping paraphernalia found to be on the passenger at all. Let's just start there. R.J. Nathaniel, the CEO of Inward Discovery, a consulting firm for creative professionals, was racially profiled, according to him, while on Alaska Airlines earlier this week. He posted about the incident and said, Alaska Air, what happened to me today was unacceptable, discriminatory, and deeply damaging to my character and livelihood. I am publicly documenting this incident because I intend to pursue the appropriate legal action. I was falsely accused and removed from flight SDEVKU, scheduled to depart Seattle to Atlanta at 9:59 a.m. Upon boarding, a flight attendant, Mr. Rizzo, who reported that after I exited the restroom, he believed he detected an odor and claimed it appeared to be a vape and that smelled of cannabis. No vape was found on me. No evidence was ever presented. End quote. Another quote, despite the fact that multiple passengers were boarding from a state where cannabis is legal, I was singled out. Last person seen, and notably, a black passenger, and treated as though I was responsible based solely on this employee's assumption. I was escorted off the craft. I emptied my belongings in front of the manager on duty at D Gate Jenny to prove I had no vape device. Nothing was found. Even after proving my innocence, I was dismissed with only a customer care phone number and rebooked on the flight 6 hours later. No acknowledgement for wrongdoing, no compensation, no corrective action. So, understand federal law. It is against federal law to smoke or vape or do any of those things on an airplane. It's against the law. It's not just a rule or an administrative policy. It's actually against the law, which means police intervention could be called. And he could legally be searched because they have the prerequisite to engage in the search given the nature of the allegation. Is the allegation correct? Doesn't seem to be. Is the allegation something that should get someone kicked off a plane? Typically, allegations do not. There has to be some level of proof. According to the first encounter, the individual who was explaining to this young man said, "Oh, well, it wasn't just the flight attendant, other people too." Well, do you have an affidavit, witness reports, anything? Because you don't have evidence whatsoever that this man did anything illegal. Now, here's why this becomes an actual case of civil damage. Not because he was accused of vaping. If he was accused of vaping in an everyday situation, no real damage here because vaping is not illegal. But he was accused of vaping on an airline, which makes it against the law. So you have an accusation of a criminal act, which now is in fact damaging to his reputation. That is why this becomes a civil issue. There's more. When I arrived at the Alaska Airlines service desk at N-Gate, both Carly and the supervisor, Tazi, apologized repeatedly for the situation and directed me to continue filing a formal complaint with customer care. At this time, I have received no resolution, vouchers, or anything, no compensation for loss in my work wages, no accountability for the defamatory assumption made about me. Quote, this incident caused significant public embarrassment and defamation of my character. The handling of this matter raises serious concerns about bias, discriminatory profiling, and misuse of authority. I am requesting that Alaska Airlines leadership and all involved parties address this with urgency. I fully intend to pursue legal action to ensure this is handled appropriately. So Alaska Air put out the following reply to Nathaniel's post, quote, we are genuinely sorry to hear this was your experience. When you feel ready, we kindly ask that you send us a DM so we can provide you with assistance you need. To protect your information, we suggest removing your confirmation code, and to ensure the safety of our employees, we kindly request that you remove their names from your post. Okay? You had opportunity to engage with them. You have to understand the guy went public when he could not get remedy directly. And so social media becomes an avenue for filing or logging a complaint that you will pay attention to. It's unfortunate it has come to that. But you had opportunity to remedy before it went to that space. And yes, it is defamatory to accuse any human being of a criminal act, period, without evidence, without proof, without anything. That is a big no-no. And it was done by way of your own staff. Now, we've seen this happen before with other airlines. Remember this?
As I got my things and walked to the front of the plane and made a left to the jet bridge, I noticed that there was 7 other black men. And that kind of was like, okay, what's happening here? So
for plaintiffs Emmanuel Jean Joseph, Alvin Jackson, and Xavier Veal, Flight 832 was a connection. They'd taken an earlier flight from Los Angeles without issue.
It was just black men. So I started freaking out. I pulled out my phone to record everything.
At any point, did somebody from American say to any of you that you had an offensive odor?
No.
The lawsuit claims over the course of about an hour, the men were kept in the jetway and then moved to the gate area where they were told they'd be rebooked on another flight to New York later that day, and alleges an American employee indicated the complaint about offensive body odor had come from a white male flight attendant. A gate agent seen in the video at one point seems to agree race was a factor in the men getting pulled off the flight.
just because of the color of my skin. Okay.
I do not disagree with you.
All 3 of them? Really? We covered that as well. All right, Sharon, thoughts here.
So, number one, what should be against the law is stupidity, ongoing stupidity by everyday people.
And it's a shame that it's not. This kind of thing is actionable. It's annoying. It's a nuisance, but it also actually, Doc, in my view, puts all of us at risk. When you don't take complaints seriously, planes can go down, hijack, drunk pilot, all of those things can happen. Here, if you had him dead to right enough to kick him off that plane, he's the one that asked you to get a manager and the what? The police, who could have searched him and shown that these were great staffers. Now they'll probably do a switcheroo and pretend that, well, maybe he got rid of it. Instead of searching him on the spot, as you said, this would be a criminal offense that puts lives in jeopardy potentially. This is stupidity. It's ignorance, and racism hurts all of us, and it puts lives in danger. His reputation's damaged. He should be compensated for that. And those people should be, you know me, even in these times, I'm getting ready to fire people. I'm tired of this. I don't believe you can retrain other people who don't have common sense, but you're nicer than I am.
Well, I do believe that they need to be fired or some significant remedial training. But the reality is this: they have put significant liability back on the airline itself, because as agents of the airline, they decided to engage in defaming a passenger by claiming they committed a criminal offense by providing no evidence to the fact. We're going to continue to bring you updates to that as it develops.